Yeah, hi there. These comments, I'm going to just use your initials E, and you are one of my English 107 students. So let's take a look at your question. So your first question is, I was wondering, I would probably say here if instead of was. So or how about whether or not, make it more formal. So say, I was wondering whether or not the self-assessment that you guys did in class yesterday had the same layout as the first essay. No. I think with our self-assessment, if I remember correctly, with our second one, we took a look at 3 specific things with the paper. The first thing we looked at was the actual topic that you guys are choosing, or your research question. And my first questions were pretty simple. Is the research question or topic that you've chosen, is it sharply focused? Is it arguable? Is it not just based on personal beliefs? And is it intellectually challenging, requiring research and things? So that was the first thing that I asked my students in class for the self-assessment. The second thing that we took a look at was the introduction and the thesis. And the question was, do you include an introduction and several sentences that kind of raise the topic, to kind of set up the 2 sides of the debate, and then do you include a thesis that frames the debate? And if you're not sure about what kind of thesis would work, if you go to Gold, I think Stephen J. Gold, the dinosaurs essay that we read, if you go to his article and you take a look at, I think it's like paragraph 3, and he does include a thesis in there. So you should also include a thesis in your essay. The third thing that we looked at was the structure. And the structure is kind of based on what the actual assignment is. So what I was telling students is I presented to them in class a possible way that they can outline their essay. And if they follow this outline, then more than likely they should be able to organize, I think, their essay in a fairly coherent manner with some depth and complexity of thought. So how would you do that? So think of it like this. So you have Roman numeral 1 is your introduction along with your thesis. Roman numeral 2 is you're explaining the one side of the debate. So let's say you're talking about cyberbullying, and you think cyberbullying should or should not be criminalized. So maybe, let's say you start with a position you don't agree with. So let's say in Roman numeral 2 you'll put some claim that cyberbullying should not be criminalized. Then you include maybe 3 reasons why this particular group believes that. So you'll probably write maybe 3 paragraphs here. Then you get to Roman numeral 3 would be, on the other hand, others claim that cyberbullying should be criminalized. And then here, you can give 3 more reasons or 3 more paragraphs explaining why they believe that particular point of view. Now, when you get to part 4, this is where you get to your opinion. So you'll say something like, those who believe that cyberbullying should not be criminalized do not have logical or plausible reasons for the argument. So then, you have 3 parts here. What you're going to do now is to explain why you disagree with the first points mentioned in Roman numeral 2. And then you can go to part 5 is why you agree that cyberbullying should be criminalized. And what you're going to do there, you're actually going to agree and explain why in part 3 you think those 3 arguments are valid. So then you have your conclusion, in which you can make some concluding statements about your topic, and you're pretty much done. So if you did that, you should have a fairly clear organization, and one that kind of approaches the writing assignment we're trying to do. So those are some of the things that we looked at, I think, during our self-assessment in the last class.